Hi everybody, this is Laura with Krazy Kool Cakes. Today we're bringing you a tutorial on how to hand paint a cake. I've had a lot of requests and a lot of questions about this particular subject, so what I'm doing here is I'm actually going to hand paint an entire tier and show you guys just how easy it is. This cake here is already covered in fondant. It's fresh out of the refrigerator, so there's no condensation whatsoever. We have refrigerated air here in the studio, so we rarely do get condensation. It's okay if you start to form a little bit of condensation as you're painting, because you're gonna let this sit for a while and let it dry anyway. So by the time the color completely evaporates, so has your condensation, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is just get yourself a nice bristled paintbrush. Hopefully a good quality one that's not going to be releasing a bunch of bristles. Once in a while, guys, no matter how good the brush, you're always going to have a bristle or two stay on your cake. So after you're done brushing, you want to take a very close and good look at your cake and make sure that you don't have any little bristles stuck to your fondant. The other thing you're going to need is just a small container to store or to keep your color while you're painting. This cake is going to be painted blue. It's going to be a ocean color, so I'm just using royal blue. How dark or how light the color turns out depends on you. The more color you add, the darker the color, of course, and the less color, the lighter the shade will be. Okay, and then I have a little bit of vodka that I have in this bottle, and there's some people that like to use extracts, lemon extract, but I like to stick to vodka because it doesn't leave any flavor behind. It's okay to use lemon extract or other type of extracts as long as the flavor that's left behind isn't going to clash with your cake. I personally like to use vodka, and a lot of people freak out when they find out that we use vodka to paint our cakes, especially for kids' cakes, but please remember that the vodka completely evaporates right away and there's no trace of it left behind on the cake, so it's not like the kids are eating a bunch of alcohol. Okay, so no need to worry about that, and there's no trace left of the flavor whatsoever like you have with extracts. So what I'm gonna do is pretty much from doing this a few times, guys, you'll know how much color to use. So I don't want my cake to be too dark, so that's about all I'm gonna use. Okay, and then I add a little bit of vodka just to dilute the color. And since I'm gonna be doing an entire tier, I want to make sure I don't run out, so I'm pretty much adding quite a bit here. Then you want to mix your color until you see all the little chunks of gel color disappear. You can use any brand of gel color. Sometimes I use AmeriColor, sometimes I use Wilton. There's all kinds, and they all pretty much work the same. If you're not too sure how it's gonna look on your cake, you can test it out on a piece of cardboard, or if you guys notice here, I have some paper towels underneath here, and I'm gonna use that to dab a little bit of color to see how it's gonna look on my cake. So for me, that's still a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna add a little bit more vodka. That's a little bit lighter. Okay. So I'm gonna start brushing on my cake. You don't want your brush dripping. That's why I'm doing this on the edge of my container. You don't want it dripping, just enough to get some color on there. And I always start from the top and then I work my way down. Even though you're not really gonna see the top part because it's gonna have some cake toppers on it, I still like to cover the entire cake. And the best thing to remember, guys, is to work, when you're working on the top, go in a circular motion. Make sure your brush strokes are always going in the same direction. You don't want to be doing this and then start crisscrossing, okay? Because the key to this is to keep your brush strokes in the same direction so that they're not that noticeable. You want them to be noticeable because you want people to know that it was hand painted. And that brings a lot of artistic value to the cake when they know that it's handmade, rather than just the fondant being all colored. A lot of people worry about leaving brush strokes behind or leaving their fingerprints on a cake, but I actually like the way that looks. It looks handmade. You know, you can tell it's handmade and it's not factory made. And when your brush starts drying out, just dip it in your color again. If you left too much color behind in a certain spot, go ahead and go over it and drag the color. This is going to be my base color. Once this dries, I'm going to actually go back and with some darker colors and with some white, I'm going to hand paint some waves, ocean waves. This is going to be our shark attack theme birthday cake. Once you've covered an area, like here in the center, I do not want to go back in there again because it's already starting to dry. And if you go back in there and place your brush in there and drag it, then you're going to actually start to remove color. So you don't want to go over an area right away. Later on, if you weren't happy with the shade of color and you want to make it a little bit darker, it's okay to go back, but only after the color has dried. Like I said, if you go back right away, then you're going to start dragging your color and leaving giant white streaks behind, and that's not going to look very good. So now that I've covered the entire top of my cake, as you see here, I'm starting on the edge, and I'm turning my turntable with my left hand as I am carefully brushing this cake, going in the same direction. And notice how all of my strokes are horizontal. You don't want to start going up and down once you've already made a bunch of brush strokes going sideways, because it's gonna just look weird. It looks much nicer when the brush strokes are all in the same direction. And all I'm gonna do is just work my way all around and all the way to the bottom of my cake. So I'm gonna do that now, and we'll probably speed up the video right about here, and then we'll talk a little bit more once it's completely done. Alright guys, so as you can see, I am pretty much done painting my cake tier, and I already can tell that because of the certain shininess on the top, it's already starting to dry. So I'm going to actually just let this sit for a good 20 minutes. It should be completely dry in about 20 to 25 minutes. And as you can see the brush strokes, and to me, I think that really looks very, very nice. I love the way the brush strokes look. To me, it looks very artistic, and it looks very organic, okay? So I'm gonna let this dry, and then now I'm gonna show you how to paint another tier just for a little bit more practice. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Okay guys, I wanted to show you a different type of paintbrush stroke that you can do in the tier that I just did. You can see that there's small, short strokes, and so the strokes are a lot more visible. If you want to try a different type of brush stroke, if you can see here, the strokes are more continuous and they're much longer. And of course, I would suggest you have a turntable to do this, but I just want to show you in case you like the look of a longer stroke. Again, take a little bit of color on your brush And what you can do is actually turn your turntable, and keep the brush in the same place. And as you can see, the brush stroke is much longer, more continuous, and that gives it a different feel, a different look. Okay, so you can turn your turntable as you are painting the cake. So that also looks very, very nice, a different type of brush stroke that you can do. Okay, so we're just going to show you how to paint the rest of this cake with this type of brush stroke. Keep the brush in the same place as you are turning your turntable. Okay, so we're back. I just wanted to quickly show you, it's only been maybe about 15 minutes since I painted this one, and it's already pretty much dry. Okay, so as you can see, the vodka evaporates very, very quickly, so you can get these done very quickly. Now I'm going to hand paint another tier. This is for a second cake that we have this weekend, and this is supposed to be Woody's shirt, Woody from Toy Story, so it's already got these lines. And so I'm just going to show you how to paint a cake that has lines in it or carvings in it, and it's going to be a buttercup yellow color, and you'll see how the strokes look very different when you use lighter colors. Okay, so again, pretty much same technique. I have another fine bristled brush, and this one's a little bit smaller because I'm going to be working in smaller areas. And again, I just dip my brush into the color. Woody's shirt is a buttercup yellow, and this is Wilton gel food coloring, and this is a buttercup yellow. And then again, add some vodka to your container so that we can dilute our color, and mix it very, very well until you see a lot of these larger chunks gone. And I'm going to test this on my paper towel to see more or less what the shade's going to be, and that's actually good. Okay, so once again, want to start on the top. Now you're going to go in a circular motion. What's nice about the yellow is that the brush strokes are not too noticeable. And of course, the bigger brush you use, if you guys want for the top parts, you can use a much wider bristled brush to get the top painted quicker. Just lost a little bristle there, but I already picked it up. So as I'm painting the top here, I am slowly turning my turntable with my hand, evening out my color. Okay, so for the rest of the cake, again, just small brush strokes. And I'm not really concerned about this area here because I'm actually going to go back and hand paint that with a little red line so that it looks like his shirt. So basically, guys, this is just to show you that you can pretty much paint any cake. Doesn't matter what theme or what type. If you don't want to airbrush and you want to hand paint and have it look more artistic, you can definitely do that. If you wanted to do the side of the cake horizontally this way, then just make sure you do the entire cake that way. Don't switch it up because then it's very noticeable. So I'm going to go ahead and hand paint the rest of this, and we'll speed up the video right about here. Alright guys, so you can see that I'm pretty much done painting this entire cake here. And it'll only be a matter of minutes before it's completely dry. I'm gonna go back later on and paint in these lines a bright red so that it looks like Woody's shirt. But again, this is just an example of what you can do. Okay, if you ask yourself, can I paint, you know, a certain cake tier, a certain color? Of course you can. Okay. And it's a lot of fun. A lot of you might be a little bit nervous about actually painting a cake for the very first time. So if you don't want to try it out or experiment with an actual cake that you're going to be doing for somebody, my suggestion to you guys is to roll out some fondant, you know, maybe a nice big square like a blank canvas. Let it dry completely for, you know, half a day. And that way you'll get an idea of what it'll actually look like when you do paint a cake, and have fun. Try different colors, try different shades of a certain color, try different brushes so you see which one you like. Okay, try different types of extracts, or try the vodka, which is my suggestion, of course, because I love the way the vodka works. And like I said, just have fun, guys, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. This will be dry in just about 15-20 minutes. And then I will actually stick all of my cakes in the refrigerator overnight and decorate them in the morning. So once your color is completely dry, it's okay to go ahead and refrigerate them again if you'd like. Alright guys, so hope you enjoyed this tutorial and have fun hand painting your cakes. Talk to everybody very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.